let's resume and continue the example talking about the reactor router, right? So so we need to decide some routes, right, for our web application. So we will start with something similar to this on the slide, right? So there is a router is already present. It's a browser router we put into the main JSX. And there are the routes, and now we need to define some routes. Okay, that's probably the most difficult part because you need to think in terms of routes. I mean, in terms of views, maybe it's simpler to think in terms of views for your application. We need to restructure our application in views. So first, let's rehearse how our application works. Okay, so that's my application. I mean our application, I would say, the one we are going to see during these lectures. That's the question and answer, right? So you have the film library with the films and so on in the lab. But you do more or less the same things in the lab. So you are able to delete films, you are able to add films, you are able to edit films. That's the same thing we are going to see here, right? So, oops, sorry, I wanted to, okay, let's load the application. And then we click, I mean, of course, deleting is easy, right? So then add. So deleting has no need for another view. I mean, we update the current view, that's all. But adding an answer creates something new that must be shown. So that's a typical candidate for a view, right? For a new view, for a new route. So there could be a route to add something. Of course, I mean, if we have a route just to, I would say, list all the answers plus the form, probably is not as useful. Why should we change the URL? I mean, just to make developers happy and have a new route. I mean, not so useful, right? But maybe you want to change the URL and just have the form, okay? Because if you just have the form, it's like you use the state. You remember we have a state that that decides if we want to show the form or not. Where is it? In main, I think. State, oh yeah, there is no name here, so we need to go into the code, and there is a state in main, show form, right? Use state false. So of course we could have the show form decide if we want to show the list or the form, right? So let's do this modification because it's, you know, the step before the rest. So show form, yes, row, or okay, or the rest. Okay, so no need to have the other answer. Okay, so here we have two rows, so we need the fragment, remember. Okay, and I think we still miss one bracket, I guess. No, it was already there, so okay. So format selection, same. Okay, so let's see what happens here. Okay, we had to check for the other answers, but no, set show form should be show form. It's true or not show form, right? So okay, so if show form is false, we just show the list. We should show the button as well, I guess, right? So that was right. Sorry. Okay, I'm trying to do something, let's say, on the fly. Okay, so and show form again. No, show form. Oh, come on. Show form. Okay, we close it. Oh, I close here. Okay, good. Let's see if it works. So, no, not show form. Right. The AI was right. So, we have the other answer. Click, and we show the form, right? Without the list, right? That's a different view, right? So, something which is possible, of course, with the state that you already have. So, let's have a look at the code. I mean, I just modified the code to make sure that I only render what is needed when depending on the value of the show form. Okay, I commit it so you can analyze later after the lecture. Okay, modified show form. Okay, push. So cancel. We go back, add the answer, and we see the view with the form. Okay, so we have a state inside the application that is this show form. That is the perfect candidate to become a new URL. Okay, /add add new answer, whatever you want. Okay, we typically keep the URL short. I mean, that's just a convention. Okay, but for convenience, because indeed what you have inside the URL, it's indeed an application state. Okay, we just move the application state out of the states, the React states, and we move it to the URL. Okay, and the router reads the URL, and so the URL basically keeps this information about what we would like to show. It is typically what we would call a page in old application. Okay, a new web page. So let's try to implement this behavior with the router. Okay, because of course we can do everything with the state. I just did it, right? So there is a state that is named show form, but then we would like to have the edit form. We add a new state, or we have other strings that say which form. I mean, which kind of form we would like to have. We would like to have the add form or the edit form. Which element we would like to edit in the form, and so on. Again, we have another state. We saw it last time, right? So all these states are basically presentation states that depends on what we would like to show. Right? So they are the perfect candidates to become routes in our application, because /something could handle basically what we would like to keep inside these states. Okay? Because depending on the state, we just want to show one thing, another thing, another thing, and so on. Another view, another content of the page. Okay? So let's try to do this operation. I hope you agree with me. Okay? If you have other ideas, just tell me. Routes are typically implemented at the app level. Okay? So at the app level, we do this operation of returning what? I mean, we would like to return routes. Return /routes. Okay? Route path element what? Element, yeah, main, yeah, might be. I mean, I'm missing the header, so I don't like it so much, but I mean, that would be good in practice. Route, question ID, no, I don't like the question ID. I would like to start with something more simple. Add, and what? Well, we need to create a component. I mean, we actually don't, well, actually no, we have the component, it's the answer form, right? More or less, yes, answer form. Okay? That's good. I mean, main is not enough probably for us, so I would say, I mean, I don't like this solution because, I mean, with the main, I think we don't have the container, right? I mean, we can test this code. Let's see if it works. No, it doesn't render. Why? Oh yeah, I didn't import, of course, routes. So first of all, we need to import stuff, right? So import routes and so on. But one of you told me during the break, I mean, do you need to import from React Router or React Router DOM? Well, actually that's the same, okay? All the libraries wanted to use React Router DOM. The modern library, the version 7, you can do it without the DOM, okay? The DOM is the default, okay? It's the same. Route, let's see. So let's reload. And basically, you see that, well, of course, slash and slash add, okay? And now the add works. Oh, okay, more or less. I mean, we still need to fix the layout and so on. But you see that I typed slash add. It's a bit small. I cannot make it bigger. But slash add. And now, actually, I didn't go to the server and ask for a new page. It's the client router, the library, that decides what to render on the basis of what I described in the beginning. So, on the basis of what I wrote here. Okay? Route path slash add, and the path that is the more specific wins. Okay, if I type slash add, of course I go to the slash add. If I type slash something else, I mean there's no not found and so on. So ABCD, you will see. Well, actually nothing. I think. No routes, match location, so it depends on the behavior of the library, okay? So we can even write something just to test. But, I don't like the edit for the moment, the edit is for later. Element P not found, yes, not found, okay? Just a string, right? So ABCD not found, okay? So that's the beauty of having a router. No interaction with the server, just everything happens on the client side. Okay? Good. Of course, we will not have time to fix all the things. I mean, in a nice way, I'll finish the example after the lecture because I'm not sure we can do everything in 1 hour. But, I mean, we will try to do what we can. Okay? Okay, before going on, you remember that I told about this nested routes, right? So remember route with the layout, route, and so on. Okay, let's try this experiment because it's very convenient. Also, we have this container plus the rows, calls, and so on, the bootstrap layout, etc. If we have a component for the layout, that would be great, and so we can practice a little bit. Let's try. Okay, so we need to nest routes. Route, okay, route, yes. Path, no question ID, just slash. Element, that's a layout. Okay, and of course you need to create it. Okay, and then the rest will be rendered inside the layout. What do we put inside the layout? Well, just a boilerplate code, the JSX that creates the layout. Okay, so I would go here, function layout. It's just a React component. Okay, you can take props if you like. I mean, we don't need props in this case. Return container fluid row call my header etc. my footer. Main, I don't like the main here. That's a place for the outlet, right? Outlet. Okay? Yes. We need to import it, don't forget it. So easy, right, to forget things. But I mean, these are the errors which are easy to fix, right? So let's start again. Oh, there's something missing here, I think. 149, I think I forgot to close something, right? Yes, layout, return is here. What did I forget? Oh, here, the up, right? Slash, I mean, the bracket. Okay. So, okay, it's empty. Okay, not really what I expected, but I mean, let's try. Huh?
There's a problem with the nesting. It just closed.
Oh yeah, you're right. I closed it here, right? It's wrong. I mean, I want to close it at the end, right? Thank you. You need to nest routes, as your colleague says. Thanks. Thank you. We make the lecture a bit more interactive. Okay? So, just make sure you have the outlet. If you forget the outlet, as I told you, you see nothing, okay, apart from the error I did before. But I mean, again, we can help you in the lab, but please come to the lab if you want some help, okay? Okay, /add. Does it still work? Yes. And you see now the header and the footer. Because it's automatic, right? There is the layout which is rendered, and then there's the outlet. Inside the outlet, we put what we decided here, the answer form. Okay, great. Not found just there for completeness. Okay, just because I wanted to play a little bit. Of course, I mean, to make everything work, I need to, adjust the main and the answer form, right? So, at the moment we have this show form, which, I mean, you see, click process for is not a function because I didn't pass the property. That's fine. I mean, not fine, but I mean, something which I should do. Click add answer. It shows the form, but it shows under slash, not under /add. Because I need to make the button an element that navigates to a new URL, not just a change of state. If we still keep the state inside React, I mean, we are still with the old model without the URLs. I mean, you can do it, it's fine. I mean, if you just have to show something in addition, something small and so on, probably maybe you don't want to use a new URL, that's fine. But if you have a completely new view, probably you want to use a different URL. And of course, this morning we are talking about routers and URL, and of course we want to adapt the application to this situation. So, this state is useless. It goes away, because this state is now kept by the fact that we have two different URLs, slash and /add, that says if we want to show the form or not. Okay, and not means the default view, slash. Okay, good. But then, how does the button work? Okay, the button doesn't work now. You can try. I mean, but I think it's broken for. Yeah, show form is not fine because we need to adjust a lot of things. Okay, so this is the main, right? So yes, that's a main, and of course we cannot rely on this show form to decide what to show. Okay. This stuff needs to go somewhere else. Let's fix the button. Okay. So here we are in main, and main is the component I chose to show in slash. So in slash, it's fine that we have. It's fine that we have the button always shown. Okay. Main, and so we show we always show the button. Okay, save. We remove the stuff of the answer table. No, the answer table is correct. I mean the answer form, sorry. So, answer table is fine. I will format everything better in a minute. The answer form is what needs to be removed from here and put it into another place. Okay? Where do we put it? I mean, it's up to you. I recommend you to keep a little bit of order inside your oh sorry, that's a context. Inside your files. Maybe you can, inside the form components, create a function, I mean a component that is, what is the form layout, I think I called it. No, form route. Form route. Okay? The props. In case. Oops. Return what? Return row call. Not really. Okay. Oh, row call was already there. Oops. So what I took from the other place, right? Add answer, set to form, and so on. This need to be fixed later on. Okay. But I mean that's in principle what I want, right? Form route is what I want to export. Form route. Answer form is not needed anymore in app. So here I want the answer form. No, the form route. Form route. Okay? So I created a component just to handle, I mean the route, because I want to return row call and so on. That was in main before. Okay, previously. Okay, this is not needed anymore. And if we have stuff like that, we need to get it through props. Props, show form, I mean, it doesn't apply here. The edit object, no, because it's just for adding. Okay, so this comment can be deleted. Yes. Save existing answer at the moment is not needed. Okay? So just add answer. And of course, I mean, it's a prop, we need to pass the prop, right? Add answer. Okay? And this creates another problem. Where do I take the add answer method? I mean, the add answer method was inside main. Right? You see where it was? It was here. But main is now a component that is rendered below app. Okay? It's a children of app. And so, it's a child of app. And so we need to find a way to have this method available here. The only way we have is to move the state. I mean, the state cannot stay inside main. The state, since it needs to be modified by other components at the same level, form route, and then we will have the form for editing and so on, is to be moved in app. Okay, there's no other option. So we take the state. Okay, and all the functions actually, because the functions work on that state, and we need to move it to up. Okay, just move the state in up. Okay, so now the add answer is available because it works on the state which is in up. Okay. So you need to refactor a lot of things if you are using the router. Of course, I mean, we know it takes a while, right? I mean, you need to practice yourself, and that's why we have a whole lab for the route that is next Thursday, right? So, but I mean, when you start thinking of a more complex app, typically you start thinking about routes in the beginning, okay? So, of course, I mean, you can start writing something and then adapting, but I mean, it's like when you start thinking the APIs of the server. If you have a little bit of experience that I hope you created during the labs and you following the course, attending the course, I mean, you try to start from something which is already in a good shape to be extended. Okay, so typically put all the states in app. I mean, all the state that contains information at least in app. The presentation states can be mapped to URLs, and so basically you need to decide which routes you want to have. Okay, and the components that will handle these routes. Okay. Okay, so let's see if it works. No, not sure if it already works. Answer form. Answer form. I think we need to import the correct. Question answer. This is form route, right? Form route. Yes. What's this step? No, I don't want to edit yet. Okay, let's see what's wrong. Answers is not defined. Up 55. Of course, now answers is not a state inside main. It needs to be a prop that needs to be passed, right? Props. Vote, delete, edit, and so on. Let's just modify like this. I mean, even though the props are not yet passed, okay? I mean, we don't really. I'm not sure if it gives an error or not. Maybe list of answers is undefined. Answer components 43. So answer components 43. We expect another name. List of answers. Yeah, answer table. Expect a list of answers. List of answers, prop answers. So I'm not passing the answers, right? So that's undefined, right? Props is never undefined, but props dot something may be undefined. So here in the router, I need to pass answer list, right? I think. Yeah, I mean, we can pass the rest as well, I think. Why it goes there? Okay, answers, vote answer, delete answer, and so on. These are the functions that were available inside main that we just moved in app, because we moved the state, and together with the state we moved the function, the corresponding function. I think we still need to. No, the add answer is passed to form route. So actually, it's not add answer, but the save existing answer, right? Save existing answer. That's another name. Okay, just to make things more clear. Oh no, sorry. Save existing answers. Sorry. Add answer. Save is for the editing, right? Okay. Save answer. Is there a save answer? No, add answer. Sorry. Add answer is there. Yes. Okay. Okay. Let's see. No errors. Good. Okay. Click add. And nothing happens, right? Set show form. I mean, there's no state. We need to transform this button in something that navigates to a new place. Okay, I think I did it with the event under. Let's see how we did it. Default route is no, I did it with a link. Now let's practice with the link. Okay, so that's in main. Just format this part of code a little bit better. Okay. So button on click. I can do it. I mean, later we will do it. use navigate and navigate to /add. That's a possibility. Okay? But I mean, just for the sake of practicing and things, link to add button. I don't need the on click anymore here. Just need to close the link. Call row. What's wrong here? Ah, yes. But okay. So I created a link around the button. So not an anchor tag. I mean, anchor is forbidden. No a tag. Okay, in single page applications. And now there's something wrong. I forgot to import the link, right? I think link. Okay, good. And now let's see. Click. It's a link. You see on the bottom left, there is even the link printed by the browser before clicking on it. Okay, it's a link. I can make anything a link basically with the JSX. I can make text a link, the classic text which is underlined. I can make a button as a link and so on. So now I click and you will see that the URL changes. Click, URL changes. Okay, they still have some issues. Row is not defined. I forgot to import something in, I guess, in form components. Yes. Row call. But I mean, the URL has changed automatically. Let's try again. Click, you see the link, click, and you see /add. Okay, so now we have two pages in our application. Okay, slash and /add. They are basically showing what I was showing before. Okay, before doing this modification. Just there are two pages. No interactions with the server. You can see it. I will do the exam for sure. Network. Okay. Of course. I mean, the first time you load from the server, and then you click. No interaction with the server. Everything happens on the client side. Okay. If something happens with the server, I'm not happy at the exam. Okay. Because it's a single page application. It has to have a router on the client side. Interaction with the server after the initial loading is only in single page application is loading to get and store data, okay, with the JSON format, with the APIs and so on. Next week we introduce a NUC, use effect and so on that will allow us to start interacting with the server. Finally, okay, and then we have the buttons here, right? Cancel. It doesn't work, right? Why? For the same reason. Think, yeah, props essential for is not a function. I mean, we have no state anymore. Now we have URLs. So buttons might be either a link or use a function in the event handler that navigate to a different URL. So let's go and fix this. Okay? Answer form, I think. I hope I use the navigate. Yeah. Yes, so we see another thing. So we are in the answer components, list of answers. No, we are in the edit. I mean, in the add answer form, and we are at the bottom here. Button, secondary, on click. Probe set show form, but say show form is not set. We have no state, right? So how do we modify this? Navigate, right? Navigate what's I mean bad suggestion. Navigate yeah, -1. I don't like it. Go back in the history. Okay, minus because it can take a number, but navigate comes from a hook, right? Did I put it after the states? I think so. No, it's just in the begin. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I mean, const navigate, use navigate. Okay? Use navigate. That's a hook for the router. Of course, I need to import the router. Don't forget, otherwise you get the usual error, right? Use navigate from React routers, fine. Okay, let's see if it works. Click. Wow, we went back to slash. Okay? Slash, add, click, slash. Okay? Click, add, click, slash. You can check which URL is currently active by reading the URL bar. Okay? I mean, until now things are quite simple. I mean, we transformed actually a presentation state that was inside React, that this show form, into a URL. And of course we had to modify a number of things because we used the button to set the state, use the state to decide what to render and so on. And we need to describe what to render depending on the URL through the React router components here in app. So here say what we would like to render depending on the URL. And then we need to fix all the navigation buttons, links and so on. Okay, so the buttons with the links or with the navigate and so on. Okay, so let's make sure that the add works. So let's add an answer. A, B, C, and so on. Click. Oh, set show form is not defined. Okay, well, that's the usual problem. Cancel. Wow, it has been added, right? I mean, the other state keeps working. I mean, the answer list keeps working. It's just the presentation that has not been updated, right? But the state inside React works. So let's fix this. What is the problem? We are in the for component. We click on the type submit, so we create a non-submit event. The onSubmit goes to the endOnSubmit handler here, prevent default, usual stuff and so on. I modified it a little bit compared to the last lecture example. I mean, just to add a little bit more of validation so you can take inspiration for the lab and so on, but I mean, concept doesn't change, okay? So props save existing answer. Props add answer. Okay, so add answer. And then who decided to do the set show form false? I think it was not here, right? So let's go back to app. Add answer, right? Where was it? The add answer. Add answer. Set show form false. I mean, this shouldn't exist. I mean, the state doesn't exist anymore. No show form. So let's delete it. But if we do nothing, we stay on the same page. So either we do navigate / here or navigate / here in the other file. Okay? Navigate. Oh, yeah, it reads the mine, right? After adding the page, we want to see the updated list, right? So save. We already had the use navigate, so navigate is available. Let's try again. Add an answer. Blah, blah, blah. And we went back. Okay? So, using the router is just a matter of defining the routes, URLs that matches what we would like to achieve. Then, it's about defining what each route should show. Route, and so on, nested, etc., with the layout if you like, etc. So this stuff. And then adjust all the navigation elements, button, links, and so on, so that you move through the URLs as you think it's appropriate for your application. We added a new answer. We want to get back to / to see the list of all answers. Okay? We want to add an answer, we go to add / add, sorry, because we want to see the view that allows us to add an answer, and so on. Okay? So I think we can commit this first part. Add is working with routes. So you can inspect the partial code as we develop it. Okay, good. So, well, that's mostly done, right? I mean, we still have to fix the issue about the edit, right? Because at the moment there's no possibility to edit because we only have a button working that adds an answer. We can click here, I mean, but there is still the show form and so on. But I mean, it's not just about the show form. I mean, we still have to think how to handle the edit. Do we want to use the URL for adding? And who is going to tell the add URL that we want to use this route to edit and not to add? So the form has to be filled up with the already set values for the existing answer. Or do we want to use a new route? I think the second option is better. I mean, of course, we are in the lecture talking about routes, so having an additional route is nicer, right? But I mean, in general, separating concerns. So there is a route that is targeted to doing something, another route at doing another functionality, handling another functionality, and so on. It's better. It's easier to handle for your application and for the developer in general. Okay, so having a /edit route, that would be a great option. Okay, we still have one problem though, because the add has an empty form. The /edit has the problem that it needs to know which element, which answer we would like to edit, because we need to initialize the content of the form. Okay, so I mean, we still have a state, that's true. I mean, there is this state edit object, that's fine. We can still keep using this edit object, but of course, I mean, we are in the lecture talking about routes. If we have a more router-based solution, we are more happy, okay? But before doing this, just let's go back to the slides, I mean, very quickly. I told you there are, yes, there are parametric URLs. That's great, okay? Because in this way, we can have, you know, many different URLs that match the same route in the router, and we can do something like /edit/id, /detail/id, and so on. So we can embed the information about which element we would like to show in a certain page, in a certain view, directly inside the URL. And this is done many times, okay? It's like on the Politecnico web pages, for instance. I think if you go to the course of studies and I don't know, cyber security, hopefully you get something. No. Well, I mean, sorry, there should be.
You made a typo.
I made a type cyber. It doesn't. Not so good, right? No, here it is. Okay, you see, /cyber security engineering. You go to another place, / something else. The ID can be a number, can be a string, can be anything you like. Just the parts of the URL is /something //. The typical separator in the URL is /. Why it is /? Because in older application, traditional web application, it meant another directory inside the file system. Okay, that's why it was /. It still is /, even though here, I mean, it could be anything in principle, right? Okay, so how do we say that a part is parametric? With the two dots, so the colon, the same syntax that we use on the server, but it's just a coincidence. I mean, of course, I mean, when one thing becomes common, everybody wants to use it. But I mean, there are two different things. One is on the server side, is inside Express and so on. This is in the router on the client side. And just for use the same convention. Okay, so route path with the two dots ID, and we render something. how do we get the information about the ID? Should we pass it through props? I mean, not really needed. There is a hook that can get this information for us. That's great, right? Inside the component, use params, analyze the URL, and if there is a parametric part, there can be more than one parametric part, it gives to us, okay? So, why the brackets? Because it returns an object. We are not interested to the whole object, so otherwise it's const object, use params, object.id, okay? If you use this syntax, this is just JavaScript, you just extract the value of the ID key from the object that has been returned by the use params, okay? It's very common syntax. Okay, and then you can use it basically wherever you want inside the tree. So, slash invoices slash 1, 2, 3, 4, you declare the path, you declare the component, and then you extract the information and you use it to render the information, okay? Of course, I mean, it's an answer, you need to pass some information about the answer, because if you only pass the ID, the only thing you can print is the ID if you don't have the list of answers and so on, okay? You can even pass a state. This is more complex. I focused more in the past years on this stuff, but I mean, since this involves the browser object model, it's on location and so on, and you cannot pass complex objects. It's not really JavaScript. This stuff has been needs to be serialized into strings and so on. It's really a bit too complex, I think, for our purposes. You're free to use it. It's okay if you want to use it at the exam. That's fine. You want to experiment in the lab. That's fine. But you need to know what you are doing, okay? It means you can pass an additional property state that is kept not by React, not by the React route, but directly by the browser. And that's a difficult thing. So basically you cannot pass a complex object like the AJS object and so on. You basically can pass only strings, which is a bit limiting, right? And then you can use it through the use location.state and so on. So basically, let's say we could go to /edit without passing the ID on the URL, but passing a state, and the state is remembered between different pages through the help of the browser that keeps the history, okay? And there's a place also to set the state. This is generic for all browsers, browser object models, so it works in Firefox, Chrome, and so on, okay? Anybody that supports a browser object model, though it's not really standardized. And just to finish the discussion, and then we come back to the example, finish the example, we can even have more complex URLs. You remember that you did the lab with the filters, and I asked you to do the filter for unseen films, from a certain date and so on. Of course, you can create URLs specifically for that filters / something, that's fine. If you really want to have something more scalable, because you don't know how many filters you have and so on, you need to use this syntax, the question mark, key equal to value, plus key equal to value and so on, okay? And this is easily handled by the router library, because it's a very common case, and there is a third hook that is called use search params that basically separates the key and the values for you, okay? And you don't have to specify this part in the definition of the URLs in the router, because what comes after the question mark is optional, okay? So it can always be added. And I mean, just keep in mind, and when you create the URL, of course you have to create this manually, okay? So write question mark and so on. And when you want to use it inside the component, I mean, the nice situation that you have is that you have a hook that can process the part after the question mark for you, okay? You don't have to write a lot of code parsing strings that contains and equal, etc., okay? Also because they can be escaped and so on, so just rely on standard functions, okay? Summary, so what we did, just what the browser route, define routes, use the outlet if needed, if you have a layout, common layout, and so on. Navigation, link, oh, we didn't see the nav link. Nav link is just a special link. If the URL matches, it renders a bit different. That's an active class, so with the CSS you can control the render. Like in a menu, okay, if you associate different links to different items in the menu, one gets automatically highlighted if you add a class that highlights the item in the CSS. And then you have the hooks, the use navigate, we saw it. You can even render the navigate component. Rendering the navigate component with the JSX means that you render something that will be immediately destroyed because the route then follows the link in a navigate and goes in another place. So I'm not recommending it, I'm not showing it in the example just because it's a bit more complex, okay? So just use the navigate in an event handler, that's fine. And you have this, let's say, utility function, I would call them. Even though they call it hooks, okay, because they start with use, but they are basically utility function, use params for dynamic routes, and now we are going to see how to use it with a /edit/id, okay? Okay, good, so let's go back to the example, because time is running quickly. So route, an additional route, path, edit IDs, fine, okay? Edit :id, okay, because this is a parametric part. It can be 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, whatever you want, okay? It simply cannot be empty. Element, form route, add answer, I don't need it, okay? Save existing answer, edit object, okay, I can pass the edit object, but I don't like passing the edit object. Edit object, I go back to the previous case, right? The ID that I pass through the URL becomes useless, right? Because the ID is what defines what I want to edit. Okay, so I don't want to pass the edit object. I want to get rid of that state, actually. So let's get rid of that state. And also it means that we need to get rid of all the places where we set it. Okay. Set edit object, okay? Yes, I don't want to set the edit object, but now how can I manage to work with these buttons, right? So, click here. A section form is not defined, okay, that's the first error, sorry, still there, 107, section form, and then the function is empty, if it doesn't set the object. So what do you do here? It's not doing anything, right? This should be a link to /edit/1. Okay? Of course, we are not initializing the form yet, but that's the purpose of what we want to do. That's a target where we want to arrive. Okay? So let's make sure these buttons behave as we would like to. So, I'm not sure, I don't just to make something that, yes, let's use the link, or you can use the navigate, that's the same, right? Link to edit props answer ID, but it's not a prop, okay? Yeah, it's a prop because I want to pass it from another place, but now we will recover this value, okay? Because this is just the answer action. In the answer row, yes, in the answer row, we say that the edit is the edit ID. Right? Yes, edit ID is EID. Okay? We don't pass the function now. Okay? We don't set the state. This is just a URL, okay, /edit/ and it's a link. So the router will render something new, okay? So it's the router that is in charge of changing the view, not React when I'm like before when I was changing a state, okay? So let's save it. So here we pass just the ID. Of course, it depends on which row we are, but let's have a look. Oh, what's wrong here? Link is not defined again. Oh, so import browse. Okay, here link isn't enough. So you see here on the bottom left part, okay, here in the bottom left, edit 1, edit 2, edit 3, edit 4. I created links, and now I need to make them work. How do I make them work? Well, I need to go and change the component, make sure that I get this information from the URL, okay? Which component I'm using? Well, actually I'm reusing the form route. I don't want to write two forms which are exactly the same, they just change depending on the initialization, okay? I want to reuse the component. That's one purpose of having React component and so on. It's like having functions in a programming language. So in this form route, I need to make sure that I get this information. So form components, form routes, fine. Answer form. So we don't have this prop edit object, right? We need to get the information from the params of the URL. Okay? So const ID, well, answer ID, I call it answer ID equal use params. Okay? Of course I need to import it, right? Ah no, it's already imported. Use params. Answer ID is the 1, 2, 3, 4 in the URL /edit/ something. Okay? No, is it answer ID? I don't think so. It's ID. It was ID. So I think I did something different. Yeah, I did some answer ID. It must match this, what you write here. Okay? I think for clarity I wrote answer ID, so it's not a generic ID. It must match this because use params is looking at what you declared here in the route. Okay? So save form answer ID. Good. And now the initialization depends on the fact that this answer ID is set or not. Okay? But actually we need 4 elements, date, text, respondent, score, and we only have the ID. So from the ID we need to be able to get all these 4 values. Okay? And so actually we need to recover in some ways this object, right? And to recover this object, either somebody gives me the object or I need to get the whole list of answers and I need to find it. Okay? Let's see if yes. Props answers. So I need to pass the answers. So answers, form route answers. Okay. Save existing answer for later. If answer is set, answer find. Actually, I don't like this. I mean, I expect the answer is set. So, yeah, it's true that you can test a lot of things, but I mean, actually, the point is if answer ID is set, right? Yes, answer ID is set. Otherwise, it's undefined. Okay? Edit object, and we are using it instead of the one that comes with the props in the previous case, right? I mean, this AI should understand what we did, right? No props. It's not passed as a state, as a prop by the state in app anymore. Okay, save. I hope I deleted everything. I think there is still one here. Edit object. Edit object. Okay. Edit object depends on the fact there is a ID in the slash edit slash ID. If the ID set is present, it means that we can get the information about which is the answer that we use for the initialization. Just make sure all types work correctly. I mean, the ID is a number, and what you get from the URL is a string, so you need to convert it into a number. Okay, and so make sure everything is fine in this regard. Okay, let's make a test and let's see if it works. I guess there's still something not working, so let's open the console. Click and can talk to props answers is not defined. Props answers was, I guess, answers. So what's wrong? Answers form route. It's form route, right? Answer. So now you understand the need for the context, right? I mean, this is not really the case for adding a context, because it's just passing through an additional level. Context should be something more global, right? But you see how easy it is to forget to pass a prop, and how boring it is also to pass props between components, because there are multiple levels and so on. Okay, so click, great, edit 1 with the date 4 of Alice 3. Let's see what happens. Oh, set show 4 still there. Up 101, up 101, set show 4, I don't care. Save existing answer, that should be enough. What is missing, as you could see, is that we didn't move from this page back to the slash. Right, so let's go to the form component we added, save existing answer, and then navigate. Okay, navigate. You move to a different page, and we are almost done. So let's start again. Click 3222. Click. This has been edited. No errors. Okay, this is just a console log somewhere. Okay. Rest is working. I mean, this is local. I mean, this has no need to show a new page. So no need for a new URL and so on, the delete as well, etc. So the rest doesn't need any change. I mean, the only change we did is to move the state inside up, right? So the state is in up because we have to manage both main and the form below up. And so the state has to go up. That's the heuristic I was talking about when we talked about the state. When you don't know where to put the state, just lift it up until you reach a point where all the components that in the state can access it. That typically means very often up, so the root of the tree. Okay, almost working. Hopefully working. I'm not sure. I should check when I go back to the office. Okay, but I think we basically did everything. I don't think there is something missing. If there is, I will tell you on Telegram. But I think we did everything. Yeah. Yes, that should be all. I mean, if we really want to improve things, but I mean, it doesn't change that much. You can move the route not found outside the routes here, but I mean, just for practice. But in this very simple case, doesn't change anything. Okay. Depending, if you don't want to have the header and footer showing not found, I mean, you can change routes a little bit. Let's do it. I mean, just because it's time for practicing with the router, and then we finish. And so you can nest routes as long as you think they fit. Okay? So it's something. Oops. What did I do? X. Okay. Slash. Okay. What's the difference? Well, we don't have the header and footer. I mean, it's up to you. You need to decide if you want to lay out, so you render things in outlet and so on. You don't want to lay out, no problem. Okay? You can create a component because it's nicer and so on, but I mean, not really required. So, and so basically, you see, set edit answer. Now, it does nothing. It can go away. There's no state. The state is in the URL, in the form of the unique ID, edit/3, 4, and so on. Okay? Of course, we have to pay something. In this case, we have to pass the answers to the answer for component. Okay? The other option is what I told you not to use. I mean, location, state, and so on. You can pass a more complex component there, but you cannot pass a component, unfortunately, because it's a browser object model. It doesn't know about React, about JavaScript objects, and so on. It serializes in a way that creates a lot of problems. Okay? So, even though it's possible, I recommend you not to do it. Okay? And let's have a final look at up. Yeah, that's all, right? Yeah. I think that's all. Yes. So let's just commit the final stuff. Final up with routes. Okay, so I hope you got the idea of the routes and the usefulness of the routes. Okay, so we got rid of the two presentation states because we embedded the information inside the URLs. Okay, and we discussed the advantages and disadvantages of doing this. At this point, well, actually, I mean, they are working. I mean, later on, maybe it's not like this, but I mean, edit 3, no, it's not work. I said edit answer is not a fine. That's something I'm missing. I put slash in addition. Oh, edit /3. I think 109. Ah. 109. Ah, set edit answer. I think that's a function we deleted, right? Almost fine. Yes. You see, you can access other pages directly. Okay? /add /edit3 edit2. Let's do it. Edit2. Okay? I just forgot a function that I deleted. Okay, so it gave error when you create a prop. So it means these URLs can be bookmarked. Even though it's a single page application, you don't go to the server. I mean, you go to the server, you load the application, but then the rest happens on the client. It takes the list of fields, it filters the fields, it takes only the field you're interested in, it puts the values inside the edit form. Okay? That's the powerfulness of having the router. Okay? So you have a sort of behavior like the traditional web applications. Okay? I think that's really all for today. And next week we are going to talk about use effects. So finally we are going to the server, putting the server together with the client and loading some information from the server. Okay? But the labs for next week are still about forms and router. Okay? So the topics for today's this week and today's lecture. Okay? If you have any questions or comments, feel free to ask. Otherwise, I think we can finish here for today. Okay, I don't see any questions. Thank you for your attention.